Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. We asked people to send their homebrew to us, and they did, and that's how that works. We are sending out our Nordic Ale beer experiment, I guess, and in exchange, we're getting beers from all over the nation. I think we might even get one from Canada this round. Just saying, international. It is international. Canada is its own country. Michael, who is this from, and what are these beers?
This is from our new friend, Andy Podnar, also known as Gila River Brewer.
Yes, he has two different email addresses and sent emails from both, so we have
Yes.
to keep track of it.
So the beer we're drinking right now, he sent us 3 beers. We decided to open 2 tonight, Andy, so hang in there. We're doing 2. The first one is the 80p Weizen beer. It's an original gravity of 1040 and finished at 1010. It says 3.9 ABV.
I'm glad that we went with the Weizen beer first. It is hot as Hades here in the basement. There is absolutely no AC. Is there AC down here, but you didn't turn it on because you just
I
wanted
knew
to
you were
torture
coming
me.
over, so I shut it down.
It's better than drinking porter.
Well, I used to do this in the garage, and it was really sweaty out there.
I know, we were dying. So this is the Weizen beer, and how much percentage of the grain bill is wheat? Did I not hear that? I was thinking about the heat.
If I look at, it's 66% malted wheat, German malted wheat, and 33%. So it's 6 pounds of German malted wheat and 3 pounds of Brace Bavarian wheat DME.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means it's a partial mash or if it's...
I'm guessing partial mash.
Yeah.
Thinking that.
Oh yes, it's mashed grains. Maybe I should keep reading. Mashed grains at
There you
152 to 155 for 1 hour.
Nice.
So yeah, awesome.
And then the yeast of choice this time around was Safe Ale K.
Safe Ale K97. I've never used that, but it's a dry yeast.
Yeah.
It's one of their presumed wheat yeasts.
Yeah.
I've heard in the past some people say depending on the temperature you run that guy at, you get more or less wheatiness. I think it's a function of dry yeast giving you wheat beer-like qualities on that first pass. A repitch usually has more life for those dry yeasts.
Well, this is
pleasant.
Yes, I was going to say this is definitely an American wheat style. It finishes clean. It's refreshing. It tastes great. What are the hops on this?
Hallertau all the way. It's some at 60, 15, and 5 minutes.
Okay, so there's not. I would say that there's maybe a hint of noble hops there. It's not overly aromatic when it comes to hops, but the body is medium. And that's I think pushing it. It's not super thin, but it's everything that I would want in an American wheat beer, that's for sure. It finishes dry. It's got a nice weedy backbone. The hops aren't overpowering, and they're just there to sort of help with the whole flavor combination of the wheat and the clean, dry finish with the yeast. Good.
I think the carbonation is tight. It's got fine bubbles.
Tight.
It's carbonated enough. I think that it is cleaner and crisper. I mean, you keep saying American wheat. I think its flavor profile comes off American wheaty.
Yeah.
But with Hallertau hops and 2 different German malt varieties, I think the intention is.
I guess my feeling was that it's not
German-esque.
Yes, it's not German-esque with, say, maybe a clovey banana type flavor, like the American style yeast, the American yeast, rather than a German yeast that would give you a much more complex wheat beer flavor.
I think just the K97 isn't that strong of a wheat pushing.
Maybe.
That was the point I was trying to make with that yeast.
I see.
But this is a great example of you brew a beer with a certain intention, and then you taste the beer, and it's really how it tastes is then how you go forward to present it.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't really matter what ingredients you used as much as how it presents. And if I was going to put this beer in competition, I would throw a couple bottles in a Weizen category, and I would throw a couple into an American wheat category. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of that stuff, because who knows if our good friend Andy wants to do competitions, I think at just under 4% alcohol, that wheat character, the bright, spritzy carbonation, this is a perfect perfect summer drinking beer.
Yep. Well, you can see that he's from Arizona. He calls this his Das Boot beer because you could drink it in large quantities. I guess if you're in a submarine for a long time, you're drinking Das
Somehow,
Boot.
yeah.
Yeah. So that is that. All right, that's a great wheat beer, and certainly goes along, even though it's probably not as hot as an Arizona summer. Right now in the basement, it feels that way.
Yes.
Studio Z. What's this studio? Yeah, who
I don't
cares?
know. Underground.
Okay, so this is the second beer, and this is a Pilsen Ale. He
Yep.
describes. Okay.
So
So I'm
let me
guessing
tell you a little bit about this.
The majority of the grain bill is going to be Pilsner
Yep.
malt.
Yep, this is so this is a small batch, 2.5 gallons, extract of specialty grains, 1058 starting gravity, 1013 finishing gravity, so pretty nice attenuation, with just under 6% ABV. 3 pounds of Briess Pilsen DME, a half pound of Crystal 60, quarter pound of flaked maize, quarter pound of Vienna malted, and then some Tettnang and some Hallertau pellet
I'm
hops.
guessing that's Vienna malt.
Fermented out with US 05 from
Yep.
Sethvale.
He's a fan of...
He says, yes, I'm very fond of Hallertau.
Yes.
Well, that's fine. I'm very
and I
fond
am.
of Liberty hops. So we all have our favorites.
That's true. Okay, so this, to me, this was... he's using dry malt extract of Pilsen malt. And then he's got a little bit of Crystal 60, some maize.
The color is nice. It's like golden to just off copper.
Yeah.
And it's hazy. There's a bit of haze there. I would wonder if... So there is a vegetal corn-like aroma now that I'm looking at the recipe. Quarter pound of flaked maize without it being mashed
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So I think and the Vienna malt that hasn't been mashed is probably throw a little bit of haze
Yeah,
in there.
true. And you said you think it's attenuated pretty well? I think that
1058 down to 1013.
I'm tasting this, and I know he likes the sweetness of it. I would actually prefer this to be attenuated a little bit more. I think that if it were a little drier, it would be even better.
Yep. I would bet that if you threw 1 pound of just base malt in a separate pot with the crystal, the maize, and the Vienna at a mash temperature just for 30 minutes while you're getting the extract in the pot and get it heated up, just to break down some of those starches, this would probably come across as dry as 1013.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of a extra character, especially from the maize. There's a sweeter, corny character that's giving it a residual sweetness in flavor, but not necessarily in gravity.
Yeah, I see. So, if you did that, that's one technique. Is there anything else in terms of fermentation temperature or maybe pitching? He just pitched.
This says
Safe Ale 05.
US 05, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's one thing that if I'm to give some constructive feedback on that, just a little bit drier. I am picking up as it warms up a little bit more of the corn.
Yep. It's like nutty, almost buttery, corny thing. I mean, I wouldn't have said corn until I saw the maize in the recipe.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to keep this body, if you wanted to continue to brew it the way he's brewing it, I'd even up the flavor hop addition. I would
cut through some of that.
I think so. I think that, and then maybe something post boil. Throw in, a bunch of floral Hallertau tops. Give it a nice aroma. Because right now, I'm not picking up any hop aroma.
It's just the maize and the crystal, really.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a lot of malt aroma. But if it had more hops to it, it could either balance or take a leading role in the aroma. And I think that would make it that much better too.
But I don't mind it. It's still fairly drinkable. I mean, he makes reference here that it's just really more about the fun of being a home brewer and doing these types of experiments.
Absolutely.
So this is certainly a drinkable beer. You can get through the whole batch. It's only 2.5 gallon batch too.
Yeah.
You certainly get through it, and if it's something to experiment with, I mean, now you've got
try something else.
two dudes that Don't
That's
know
exactly
anything,
right.
Telling
We're
you
just
what-
another dude drinking this and
Yeah.
saying, you know, if I were to brew this, I would do X, Y, and Z.
I think the base recipe has got some interesting notes to it,
Mm.
and I think, you know, with the little touch of Vienna and the touch of flake maize, I think that
Could have something there.
going on there,
Yeah.
just a little more process change would be
It's not like I'm not finishing
Very
it,
dry,
that's for
very
sure.
dry, yeah.
So. All right, Andy,
sweet.
the Gila River Brewer. We're going to have to friend you on Facebook. Thanks, and I think Mike's going to drink that IPA and send you some notes later on.
Yes, sir.
All right, appreciate it. We have more beers to swap. We have more beers coming. So stay tuned. We will have more of your homebrew reviews coming up soon. For John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, and on our blog, brew-dudes.com. Brew on.
Cheers.